Greet you all students of ME Final. This is paper 4th unit C. We have started discussion on Parthasarthi's another poem, A Grey Sky Oppresses the Eyes. This is poem number 8 from Exile. And the particular poem, it signifies poet's minute observation made in Calcutta city, spectacular as we discussed earlier. Now, have you ever thought what is the reason that poet deliberately he has made use of the words like porters, rickshaw pullers, barbers, hawker and idlers, fortune tellers. So these people, they hail from lower strata of society. He has not used the word officials, business class, and all that. So see the here title itself is suggestive, expressive, and comprehensive, giving all the details, facts, and as we discussed earlier, this particular picturesque depiction, the reason behind is that the notion of oppress here, it is associated with the poets being compassionate towards the lower strata of the people. These ordinary people, they are running after different pursuits. They are really bound to earn money for daily life, for day-to-day life. So this was the connotation. Actually, here, I would like to draw your attention towards the point. Critics generally, discuss the point that oppress word, the poet, he has used for himself only because of his temperament, that's right, and his mood, and because of his own personal experiences. But the first stanza, it points out, it signifies the fact that poet is so concerned about these poor people of the society. And this is the reason of the notion of oppresses the skies. And here, the second point I would like to focus here, you must have noticed the kind of language in this poem. As you know, title itself is very expressive, suggestive, and you see the oppress word here. I would like to again, arrest your attention toward the notion of oppression and oppress. It causes anxiety. The poet, he feels so uncomfortable. He feels suffocated. What is the reason of this inequality in the society? And see, you must have, read the first poem we discussed in much detail. And there, his life, his stay in London. And here, the hustle and bustle and the life, the city is spectacular, his, stay in Calcutta. So as if, channel is changed. TV channel is changed from one scene to another scene. And here, gray sky, see the image of gray sky. So we have, in the poems, we have great universal appeal also. We are not bound by geographical periphery all the time. So gray, now what is the reason he has used the word gray sky? Because, there is some dimness in that, gloominess in that. And sometimes when the sky, it shines very brightly, it means it is symbol of happiness and joy. But when the sky is gray, what does it signify? It signifies the poet's, feeling of depression, his temperament, and he is in blue mood. So that gray sky. So we have, depiction of these vivid images, and the poet is fond of using these images, focusing the images. Apart from that, another point here that we would discuss today, So this is the point here. Now his own experiences also. Now when he observes the busy life of Calcutta city, he, is reminded of his own memories. Okay, so going down the memory lane, and see the last word is connected with the first, and this, see the last stanza, it is, integrated with the first. So I mean, this kind of study is very important at this level, ME level. So see, the when he has pointed out in the last part of the poem that at the age of 30, so in the beginning of the poem, you must know that the poet, he has written this poem when he has attained the age of 30. I mean, youth. This is, and the time of youth has gone according to our Parthasarthi. So another, phase of his life, different phases in life. And the point of realization is very important. See, kind of language. Now, whenever you study, students, mind you, be particular about the textual part of this poem, and that whenever you study a poem, see, there are certain important points that you must study, you must discuss it, you must focus it very effectively, emphatically rather. And what are these points? Yes, we have, for instance, poetic diction. And the poet's, choice of simple words and phrases here. We have, recurrent use of images and like tree and sky. So the which kind of language? Here we have colloquial language. And this is, peculiar, typical characteristic feature of Indian English poets, conversational style. Rather than using high sounding language, bombastic language, and high flown, use of words and phrases. So this is, I think, one of the important points we must lay emphasis. Yeah, it is also very important. Then you should also concentrate on the significance of title, because this is one of the important questions so far as your examination is concerned. So significance of the title, and we have, all these the poems from Exile, and it is very comprehensive. And the what does it signify? See the word notion. I mean, notion of oppress, the feeling of depression. Now we would discuss this point. What is the reason of this depression? Yeah, we have this word, satiation, saturation, satiation. This is he actually. This is another, contextualization. His own experience in youth. He is reminded of his beloved. Mind you, you try to understand this point. His beloved, and particular, the feeling of, you see, here he has pointed out carnal desire, physical desires, and all that, which is common in this particular age. These points, and his, his passion for his beloved, and he was craving for love making and all that. I mean, these were in Jadavpur. This is a place in Calcutta. So this is the point he has, the heart needs all in his phase of life. I mean, these are certain phases of life. So see, the reason I just here tend to focus that the reasons of the word in this title, oppress. So this is another important reason for this kind of oppression, feeling of anxiety. And see, he has here made use of the word oppresses with the sky, the notion of the image of sky, and generally oppress word. Now, for your, say, better understanding, just to make it easy, I mean, we generally, make use of word this for weather. I mean, weather oppresses and heat is oppressive. I mean, you must be knowing at this level, ME level, these are, very common uses we have. Oppressive heat, we generally, in this reference, we generally make use of the word. I mean, this is, heat is so oppressive, and weather is oppressive. So at the time when it is too hot and it becomes, say, sometimes you feel so uncomfortable at that time. So, he becomes restless. So this is the point here. The feeling, this kind of, I mean, this is not only just anxiety only, restless and unable to sleep, this kind of feeling, suffocation. And here the poet here, he has shared his experiences very honestly and transparently, that in particular phase of his life, the youth, he had some kind of, say, bitter experiences in love making. And see, this point here, I mean, this satiation, it is just temporary pleasure according to the poet, and so-called love making in Jadavpur. So this feeling of satiation, try to understand. Now, what is the meaning of that? I mean, you are satisfied with certain kind of, objects, experiences, and now you don't want it more. This is too much. That kind of feeling and love, so-called love. It is not true love, obviously, but whatever be, as the poet, according to R. Parthasarthi. So that's satiation feeling in these lines, okay? In this feeling, this she see the here when he points out that nothing can really be dispensed with, and the heart need all. But this is also, I mean, kind of, according to the poet, that he has passion particular in that time. Now, again, we have the what is important here. This negativity turns into positivity. This is the purpose of writing this poem. And when he has depicted here, see the negative element here, students, you would comprehend this point in better way. And this, how it turns to be positive dynamism, with the realization that this part of this phase is so temporary, and the lesson he grasped from this particular part, it is so little wisdom. This is the point he has highlighted. See, the textual part is very important. That little, this realization is important, See, if you commit some error, you must realize it. Then only your path will be enlightened. So paving the path for the betterment, refinement, improvement, upliftment, it is a must. And what's that? And this is one of the important themes in R. Parthasarthi's poem. Realization. It's not, as earlier I mentioned the point, it is not confined to, say, alienation and all that, as critics after critics, they keep on discussing the point. But see, at this level, you must focus all this important. The lesson he grasped from the, yes, past. I mean, if you, whatever, bitter experiences you may have, as the poet he has pointed out. But idea, important pivotal point is that, is there any lesson that you have learned or not? And if you have really learned the lesson, then it signifies that you would now not commit that mistake, and that you would devote. Now, this point, I mean, this textual part, I would like to focus here. This is very important point, that this little wisdom, he has laid emphasis on the point of little wisdom. So here we have some again some negative aspect of that futility of time in the past 30 years, as he has pointed out. But again, he focused the point that now he would not commit this mistake, and feeling of depression, no doubt, but it turns to be again positivity. It turns to be, yes, of course, paving the path of enlightenment. And remaining life, he would be more productive, fruitful. So this life would be now productive and meaningful, constructive. So this is the purpose of life that he has here focused. So the notion of little wisdom, it turns to be positivity. And this he would definitely in his future life, 30 years he had spent in particularly in say some kind of trivial acts and experiences, bitter experiences, whatever. And now he would not commit that mistake. So this desire for love making the image of his beloved and all that in mindset of a young man and women filled with carnal desire, that satiation, and it is also temporary. It is also now. This kind of, realization, the poet becomes philosophical. So which kind of poem it is? Contemplative and meditative in that point. Okay. So the point is that the poet's remarkable sensibility here, when he has, focused different aspects of human life. And when you read, students, you would be inspired by his views, his ideologies, his, dogmas, that how we would, learn from the past experiences. We should not be depressed in that way. Now, here, the point is that, see, the spectacular and scene in Calcutta, the poets, here, see, you must try to understand some images now. Now we have Howrah Bridge. He has pointed out the Howrah Bridge. Now this bridge, which spans the width of river Hooghly that flows between Howrah and Calcutta. So this image. He has pointed out a pale diamond in the water. See the reflection of that. The metaphor for dazzling bridge in the light of the morning sun. So again we have image of pale hue. Which kind of hue? It is not bright, and particularly in the morning time, pale hue is pale. So the connectivity between the scene and the poet's mood. So then the poet, he has also mentioned Job Charmak. Now, what is the reason Job Charmak he made use of? He is a renowned architect. Who is he? Renowned architect and agent of the Hooghly station of the East India Company and the founder of Calcutta. So here the idea is that Calcutta is the city. Whenever we articulate any, say the name of any city, at that time, see the minute details, the poet is reminded of that person who is agent of the Hooghly station of the East India Company and the founder of Calcutta. And this is the place where if he moves, again the notion of dislodging. If he moves, displacement of that, if he moves from one place to another, the poet himself, here, then you must know this, that the poet's autobiographical elements are there, that then he, moved to Madras later on and all that, his, different experiences at that time. So he would, another image, see the students, we have, so in this particular city, the founder of this city, which is built by this famous personality, Job Charmak, and a renowned architect. And there from this city, he would move with what? Yes, bone urn of my mind. See the urn, receptacle of ashes, storing ashes. This is and ashes of ancestors, especially, as you must have read famous poem by John Keats, Ode on a Grecian Urn. So we have, urn, receptacle for what? Carrying wisdom also, yes. The ashes. Now, ashes, not inanimate or without life. Ashes of ancestors as a source of inspiration. And see the connectivity between the line earlier, the notion little wisdom in this. And the final part, this little wisdom would be, yes, change into grasping, gaining, acquiring, securing lot of wisdom in his life. So this kind, storing ashes of ancestors. See the in his he mind on of my mind. So here we have, deeper connotation, that human mind in which we have different ideas, vision for direction for futuristic values, futuristic dimensions. So paving the path of human life with wisdom. And knowledge without wisdom is futile. So if we have knowledge and it is integrated with wisdom, then it is significant. It justifies human existence. So that's why the poem is, as in this here, I have pointed out, students, mind you, these points, contemplative and meditative poem. So these are certain points, and for just have a look here as we have discussed in much detail. Now the point is here that it is with the bone on of my mind. See the image is very important. I mean, beautiful expression, the poet. His, minute observation, which leads to the source of inspiration in the beginning and towards the conclusive part of the poem. So this urn, image of urn, storing ashes of ancestors, but here the poet's mind, what does it signify? Source of inspiration for an grasping lesson, for, say, the futuristic aspects of human life, his own life. And now the purpose is carrying wisdom. So here, students, for your better understanding, just have a look, George Camus is a renowned architect, and you must know all these references here in this particular book. I mean, here in the poem, then we have, just have a look, students. This is also very important for you. So remarkable sensibility, the poets. These are the points that you must remember. And we have, the image of bridge. Now here, metaphor of bridge, bridging the gap. You must have heard this. I mean, this is the famous proverb and famous maxim. We have that axiom and maxim, bridging the gap. So gap between the past and the present. So see the continuity. In the beginning, the poet has used the word compose. Okay. So this connectivity among the past, present, and future. So he has used the word bridge not just for the sake of literal meaning only, symbolical significance at the deeper level. And then, see this bridge, if you just have this kind of thing, you have image in your mind, mental picture. See that it spans the width of river Hooghly that flows between Howrah and Calcutta. See, this is the width. And therefore, the poet has used this kind of images, and the pale diamond in the metaphor. So the metaphor for dazzling bridge in the light of morning sun. But at the same time, this image of pale. Why? What is the reason behind it? See, the image of pale and this hue, the connectivity between the scene of and the particular spectacular and the poet's mood. Okay, so I mean, here I would like to point out very significant. I mean, there are some common aspects in the poems of Nissim Askel and R. Parthasarathi. So far as poetic diction is concerned, we have, the use of language, and then we have also his views, and he starts from some negativity, but that negativity, yes, turns into positivity. And this is the source of inspiration for the readers, for the students, one and all. Thank you. We will continue another poem.